PR Connections Radio presents. This episode of Talks with Toi is brought to you by Classy Communications PR and Advertising. Classy Communications provides public relations and marketing solutions for businesses, professionals, and nonprofit organizations. They can deliver the true meaning of your business with press releases, social media marketing, web development, email marketing, book publishing, and much more. Wherever your potential clients are, they can help you connect with them. Visit classycommunications.net to learn more about their suite of services that can help your business stand out from the rest. Classy Communications is your solution for business success.
Hello. Welcome to Talks with Toi with your host, yours truly. I am Toi Moore. How are you guys? Welcome to my live show. We are going to have a great time. I'm going to be interviewing Daj'ahn Blevins, and he's going to talk about his Kuumba Festival and how he started the program and the meaning behind it all and just what they have in store for what he's doing. And in the process, I'm proud to say my new book, Celebrity Life Behind the Scenes, is out now. So you guys need to make sure you get your copy. I feature 50 celebrities that I have met. I've met plenty more, but I'm featuring 50 of them. And the paperback is in black and white. I got pictures and stories. With the 50 celebrities, I talk about how I met these celebrities, what my thoughts were about them. Some of the stories are super short, couple paragraphs or so. Some of them are several pages. It just depends on what kind of interaction I had with them. Like, say, for instance, my husband was a member of Earth, Wind, and Fire for over 12 years. So I had a longer interaction with Earth, Wind, and Fire, babysat Philip Bailey's kids, had holidays with them, Thanksgiving, Christmas dinners over their house. I talk about that in my book. I've also met Michael Jordan, Holly Berry, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Patti LaBelle, all kind. This is my 8x10, my hardcover. I'm proud this is my first hardcover. And I made this because I made color pictures for her. That's me and Anita Baker. Me and her used to spend the night together. So I just tell all these neat stories on how I met all these different celebrities and, what my thoughts were about it. Hardcover and color pictures. Also, I have an ebook that has color pictures. So you guys can get all of my books. This is book number 15. I self-published it. Proud to say I did everything myself. I had someone help me with my covers, but they're all available on Amazon.com. And anyway, we're going to bring on Daj'ahn, and he's going to be our featured speaker today, our guest speaker, and talk about what he's into with the Kuumba Festival. Welcome, Daj'ahn. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. And congratulations, Toi. This is, wow, you're the next Oprah as far as I'm concerned.
Hey, thank you. We're going to speak it into existence.
That's what I do. That is exactly how I grew up. That's what Kuumba Fest, manifested. And everything that we've put before, the creator, we've spoken into existence and it exists. So congratulations on this show.
Thank you. I know we go a long way back. We family. Our mothers were best friends, and I think we've been knowing each other since I was in elementary school. I know you're just a little older than me.
I've known you all your life.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Exactly. I mean, we're family. We don't see each other that much, but we've been knowing each other. So so congratulations on what you're doing. So tell us a little bit about your background, and then let's get into the Kuumba Fest. And let's talk about what you're doing now. You're always doing something, so let's hear it.
Well, as far as background is concerned, one of the things that I've become even more aware of, but my grandfather was one of the first Black artistic directors in San Diego when it came to art, culture, and entertainment. There was a place called the Douglas Hotel, and it had a club, an entertainment spot called the Creole Palace. Come to find out that Paw Paw was one of the artistic directors for that spot. And then my dad was very, very involved with San Diego State University, and some of the bands that got discovered and managed at what we used to call Mountain View Park or Ocean View Park on Sundays. Pops was very much involved in that. And then myself, I have a nonprofit organization called San Diego Urban Warriors that uses art to help youth families and communities develop themselves, mind, body, and spirit. And as a result of that, we created Kuumba Fest. It was a one-day event turned into a 4-day long, what do we say? We say it is the longest running celebration of Black art and culture west of the Mississippi. And we parlayed that into infrastructure of being able to get the city to designate 9 and an entire park as San Diego's Black Arts and Culture District. So we're in the process with this Kuumba Fest, utilizing it as an activation for that park to be a place for Black music, Black arts, Black culture, wellness, entertainment on an ongoing basis.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Yeah, it's like you said, we speak it into existence.
Yes, exactly. So, what was your background or whatever that really just made you feel like you needed to do this? That San Diego, because you do your festival in San Diego. I'm not sure if you do it in other areas, but what was it that was your drive that really just made you say, I need to do this? How did you take it on?
Wow. You know, for me, it really is like I was saying, my grandfather, my dad. So for me, it was pretty much a lifestyle. The fact that it blew up into what it blew up into, you know, I'm just riding the ride. I'm just with it. I'm an actor. I'm a singer. I'm a performer. I'm a professional actor, singer, performer. You know, I can't really say dancer, but I can move. And in the process of doing that, I've played every major theater in San Diego. I've understudied Lawrence Fishburne. I've got to interact with people, not necessarily trying to do it, but just ended up being at the right place at the right time. The creation of the World Beach Center, that's Big Sister Makeda Dredd. When we created the Saturday School program, she allowed us to do it right there at the World Beach Center. But you know what? I will say the biggest impetus for me was the earthquake. I think it was like in '89. And I worked for FEMA and went up to the Bay Area, and that just kind of blew my mind. I went through, I participated in a rites of passage program. That's how I got the name Daha or Daj'ahn. And I said, I'm going to go back to San Diego and, really, really try and utilize my talents and resources to help create an established Black cultural arts appreciation area. We grew up taking it for granted. It just was there. Every park had something jumping off. But after going to college and coming back, the reality was that our community had changed drastically. People use a term Southeast. They didn't realize that term meant, financial desperation or exclusion. We had no banks. We had no grocery stores. We had no development going on in the 4th district that I come from and proud of. And, everything was great when we were kids. So one of the reasons I did what I did, because it needed to be done. First thing I was able to participate in while we were trying to develop the 9-block Black Art Culture District was Market Creek Plaza. I became an investor and participated in creating an amphitheater. And so, the first amphitheater that we had in our own community, we did right there at Market Creek Plaza as investors with the Jacobs. Then Kuumba Fest I moved Kuumba Fest from Encanto Boys and Girls Club to the Lyceum Theater downtown and utilize it as an incentive. If a young person our family and a young person were having trouble getting the student to, change their behavior in the direction the family and the community wanted it to go. If that young person had an interest in theater, singing, dancing, performing, anything like that on stage, we told them, look, you get your act together and we'll put you on stage at the Lyceum Theater and showcase you. And like I said, it started out as one school, what was the school? Horseman. And it was successful with that school. Then we went to SCPA, and the rest is history. It just blew up into this incredible night of positive images, day of positive challenges, and day of spiritual rejuvenation that has been going on over 36 years.
Okay. All right. Congratulations on doing that. Good job. I'm sure you have quite a few people helping you out because I'm sure it's a big production and everything that you're doing. I've been to a couple of them. It's been a while since I've been there, but I've seen it where it's been a couple of days of events, and your opening day is just like mind blowing. It's really just great with the African culture and history of explaining things, and singing and dancing and everything is it's great. So tell me how many days you guys are doing it now, and what does each day consist of?
Well, day number one always consists of what we call a night of positive images. And in those positive images, like you were saying, you have the royal court where, some of the most beautiful women in the world and these royal guards come out in this royalty and this pageantry. It used to just make you feel proud to be Black. You're just like, that's right, that's us kind of thing. It's based on 7 principles, the 7 principles utilized in the Nguzo Saba. We also share that history. The man who created this used to live in San Diego, right there in Emerald Hills. So it's, it's homebred. There's 7 people whose lifestyles implement those 7 principles. We try and highlight those. You're not supposed to award people for doing what they're supposed to do, but we try and highlight them so the community could have access to them. So we highlight 7 people on that night in this royal pageantry of, African strength and power and positivity. So that first night is a night of positive images with song, dance, with music, song, and dance, and a play usually at the end of it, or a keynote speaker. But then that next day, it goes on forever. It starts with the African marketplace, where people come from all over the United States, to share their wares. There's a youth play. There's, the latest in workouts and African dance and fitness, nutrition. There's usually some big fashion show. The creme de la creme on Saturday. I mean, everything is great, don't get me wrong. But the creme de la creme to me on Saturday is something that was called Late Night Live at the Lyceum. And it was based on a tribute to the Apollo Theater, to where if you didn't like what the person sounded like on stage, you could boo them off the stage. So that just became a super, super popular show on Saturday. And then Sunday was pretty much dedicated to workshops, book signings, intellectual kinds of things, and closed out with a gospel celebration. That was all done at the Lyceum Theater. Now that we're transitioning from the Lyceum Theater to our own 9-block area and park, the festival will happen in the park. All of this is brand new. Everything is still developing. Last year there was a flood, 100-year flood, wiped out the entire Imperial area where the 9-block Black Arts Culture District was. We had to do Kuumba Fest at ECC in a totally different community and area. And there is a group called the Black Arts Culture District Committee that's kind of responsible for advising and leading the 9 blocks. And they're connected to the African American Museum of Fine Arts. They still can't do any events in the 9 blocks in the park because of the damage of the flood and because we're emerging. We're just, really getting started. But I I'm from San Diego. I'm a native, so I'm brag a little bit. Our community came together in such an incredible way that right now we own at least 75% of all of the businesses from 61st to 69th.
Wow, that's great.
Now, just like when we did Kuumba Fest, folks were like, oh, they're not going to let you guys be in the Lyceum Theater. Oh, you can hang that up. That's in it. And we were there for 30 years, shut it down. So,
Wow.
and they said the same thing about these not, that's never going to happen. Young African Americans, families, mothers and daughters. I mean, whole families came together and bought up that property. There are over 40 different Black-owned businesses in 9 blocks in one area right now.
Wow.
As a result of the leadership of my 501c3 San Diego Urban Warriors, but almost more importantly, the power of Kuumba Fest. Because for over 30 years, the same families in the 4th district have come together every year and made this happen. Of course, one person couldn't do it, but everybody who did do it is from the 4th district. You have a person that coordinates dance. You have a person that coordinates acting, a person that coordinates nutrition, a person who coordinates that show Late Night Live with Elysium, a person who coordinates, or not even shouldn't say a person, a group who coordinates gospel, who coordinates every one of the African marketplace. So when you have a different group that coordinates each one of the activities, you develop an infrastructure. And with this infrastructure, we asked for 8 blocks. And when city council heard what we wanted to do, they were like, give them 9. Oh my God, we never heard of Kuji Chakalia before. And that's our battle cry, to name, define, create, and speak for ourselves instead of allowing others to name, define, and create and speak for us. In San Diego, you got Little Italy, you got the Asian cultural districts, you got what else do they have? Balboa Park is a cultural district. In Oceanside, you have the beach and the sand, but even Chicano Park, but nothing that spoke to Black culture, art, and heritage. No place, no location. After a while, our kids started to think Black culture meant being some kind of hardcore, some kind of, negative, gang or something like that. But when it came to what we grew up with, cool jazz, being able to go see the Interfest at ECC and, all these incredible entertainers and educators. And it was a separation from that. But we're the only city in the world that has a Malcolm X library. We're the only city in the world that has a Kuumba Fest celebration. You know what I'm saying? There are things that we can focus on. And knowing that was a reality for us, and I didn't see anybody else, propping it up, to answer your question, all the way around the mountain, that's what motivated me to do it. I just never thought about it like that until you asked that question.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's great. Yeah. So, where are your locations at, address-wise, for your events? Because I know you have 2 different addresses, and why is that?
Well, the beginning of the 9 blocks is 61st Street. So that very first night of Positive Images, we're doing a film screening. And this film screening is that first address, 6145. And we also wanted to kind of show the distinction that, we got 9 blocks. This is our own little city. This is our corridor. So the first night, we're having a black carpet affair. And there's a young man by the name of Travis Stockton, who, even though he's into physical fitness and boxing and mentoring, he's also an artist. And he produced a film called Generations. And he's challenging us to stop the self-destruction and let this generation be something where we use our art and creativity to come together. So the opening night at 6145 Imperial Avenue is the film screening for Kuumba Fest, that night of positive images. And then the second night is in the park, which will be an all-day event ending with a concert.
And that's going to be an outside event for
Yes,
the second day.
right.
And
Friday is
what
an
time?
indoor event. Saturday is an outdoor event starting at 11 a.m. that morning and then ending around 7, 8 o'clock that night with a free concert in the park.
Okay, so is the concert with some local people or a famous band or group, or who's doing the music?
I don't know why I'm not pushing it as hard because for me, it's such an incredible deal. Some of the people that are performing in the concert, one of the guys, his first time performing in Kuumba Fest, he was 3 years old. And this is Dooney Nash's son, Khalil Nash, who is an award-winning, big time, star. But then he also comes from a dad who's a DJ for Snoop Dogg. So this synergy and this connect, the reason that we have an amphitheater at Market Creek Plaza was because when Snoop Dogg was doing a concert at the Coors, I think in Chula Vista, craziness jumped off and folks were yelling, "Go home, get out of our neighborhood." I was like, what? We gonna build our own amphitheater out there. So just that synergy for me, you know what I'm saying? Because you're a concert your dad was doing, and somebody had the nerves to say this, we gonna do a Kuumba Fest and build our own amphitheater. And now he's a grown man, one of the top, performers in the United States, and he'll be one of the performers. It's all of the people performing, I just say, when they were younger, children, and they were looking for the first time to get on stage and perform, Kuumba Fest was there. Now they're adults and, have albums and whatever, however you want to go. They're performing for this finale concert to activate this part to be a platform like they had when they were children, but on a grander scale.
Wow, that's great.
And so let me say their names. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Precious Hubbard. She's the first performer, and she lives in Los Angeles now, but she started right here. She's ours. The second guy they call him Sax Soldier. This brother plays like 15 different instruments. He is one of the most talented, eccentric, young people I've ever met in my life. And I knew his late dad before he was even born. He was a Kuumba kid, and he's deceased. But now we have his son, and this child has his ancestors and everything else in the world in him. And then Khalil, of course. And then closing it out is her name is Renee Flanoid. Her brother is the leader of the band, and he met his wife at Kuumba Fest because he was part of the royal court, out there flexing. And then their dad, when I was doing the African American Council, their grandfather, my age, their grandfather had a music school called MATA, teaching children to play instruments and music, and they're continuing that tradition. It just don't get no better than that for me. I'm like, good God.
So tell me, like, how much is all this costing people who want to come and be a part of your festival celebration?
No cost at all. You just got to be willing to be a part of this evolution. Come with joy. That's what we're calling it. It costs you joy. Whatever little bit of joy you got, bring that.
Right.
So bring your chair, your blankets, that kinds of stuff. But the very first thing on Saturday are the babies. The babies are doing a play called I Can Pass for Invisible, which is deep as hell to me. But our children literally, that's deep. You have to come check it out. And then there is a fitness competition for families. Every year they do this whole fitness thing. So if you got you and your husband and one kid, that's 3. You can be in this fitness competition. And they have some pretty nice prizes, cash prizes and trophies and things. But you can go up to like 10 members of the family or team. The third thing is a dance, step. What is the other thing? Cheer, competition showcase. What comes after that? After that, shoot, I can't even tell you. I know after, there's a concert. The concert like features about 5 different artists. And so we kind of just party it on out. A lot of dancing, live DJs, the African marketplace, book signings. Oh, that's what I forgot. There, yeah, exactly.
I'm going to be there with
bring that book down here.
I already got my table reserved. Yeah, I already got my spot reserved.
I want you to do it before. We're having this thing called the countdown because we got 9 blocks. So the 9 days before, we want to have a karaoke, book signing, art craziness kickoff. This is I'm offering, I'm challenging you. Come down here and let's do that. We can sing.
Just give me the date. Yeah, give me the date. I'm gonna grab my karaoke microphone too.
It's on pop.
And sign my books. Wait to show you. I signed my own book too because I believe in me. So I signed and autographed my own books. and I've always done it, even have this one. So yeah. So I'm there. San Diego is my home, and your family. So yeah,
okay. I'm we gotta talk about that afterwards. I'm sorry. All right, have I answered all the questions?
So, what kind of vendors are you expecting? Some of them, so that they're going to be like a lot of people selling African artifacts and clothing and food, and what kind of people are you coming in?
Because this particular event is the activation of the park. I'm telling everybody, this is your place to come build and create. They're not doing as much duplication as normal. You know what I'm saying? So they might only have one dessert vendor, one vegan vendor, one whatever, when normally, we have, an abundance. But it's really trying to create a blueprint. We love to call it the black print for our vendors, for them to work together and have a sense of ownership and not always looking for, where's the opportunity for me? Where's it this? Where's it that? We want them to come build this Black Wall Street themselves. And you know what I'm saying? So you want to get certain ones who have that, who want to be that, who want to help other Black businesses make it, who want to help get them food handler card. Everybody doesn't want to do that. Some people just want to get in where they fit in, take advantage of what, right now we're in the relationship building phase of it. So we're looking for a particular type of vendor, but definitely African centered, Black centered, positive, entrepreneurial, all of those kinds of things.
Okay. And then if somebody wants to be a part, I guess your Friday, you guys already have a specific program, so people can't just join in on that. But if they want to maybe be a vendor at your Saturday event, what would they have to do and what would it cost for them to be a part of that?
It really is just a simple registration fee of $25. They need to go to our website, though. It's San Diego Urban Warriors.org, SDUW.org. Say a little bit about what their business, their organization, their service is. If it lines up, with, our vibration, then we'll definitely make connection with them. The vendor coordinator, there's a food vendor coordinator and a non-food vendor coordinator that'll make connection with them and set it up. And other people like yourselves that are book writers that are in, and I do want to do this type of disclaimer. This particular show is for people like you that are sort of like trailblazers and leading the way. So there will be a visual example for other people who also want to do it. We're not discriminating against our own people who are just now starting and figuring it out. It's just this particular, activation is not them. We do activities throughout the year. This is the kickoff. We don't stop till October.
Okay. So that means we need to go to your website and see the different dates and stuff on the different activities that you're doing.
Right. It's called the season.
Okay.
All the way through. Every month we have an activity that people can participate in, just like this, but on a grander scale. This
and
particular
are they all in San Diego?
They're all in the Black Arts Culture District, 9 blocks.
Okay.
We building our own Black Wall Street. It'll be there. It's not like hit and miss. We're challenging anybody who's a visionary, anybody that's what they feel. It blows my mind right now because I work with so many young men that they're asking us, well, why we only got one bank? Because you haven't built any other ones, brother. What do you mean? Why? And what, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. There's something has flipped and we got to flip it back. But we also have to provide the footprints and the example for people to step in and to see and know that they can do it. Because right now, we really don't know what we don't know. And that's dangerous.
Yeah.
They're erasing stuff and we would never know that it got erased because we didn't know it existed.
Yeah.
So that's why Kuumba Fest and these 9 blocks and San Diego Urban Warriors is so important. Because we're literally, you know what I'm saying, being diminished. But we're not going to allow that. We're here to empower mind, body, and spirit.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's great. I mean, like I know you've been doing it forever. You said 36 years?
45 years.
45.
45 years, San Diego Urban Warriors. Right.
So what
my first job was the director of the Target Outreach Program with the boys. It was just the boys club. If you think back, they were calling us at-risk males. They were saying we were, like we were dinosaurs, predators. So a lot of the things that exist now as ID for Black men, I'm 66.
Yeah. Wow. So what have you learned from 45 years ago to now in your experience as you've gone through this? What have you learned and what are the positives and the negatives that you have gotten out of this experience?
The positive, I think I'm going to say is I'm a church boy. And we would always hear, let's not just have a form of godliness and deny all the power thereof. And I took that to heart. And the men that were in front of me in church, these big bishops, whatever, they were about it. They built apartment complexes and made sure people had jobs. And, they used that opportunity to create. And then, I grew up seeing the Jackie Robinson being built, the Euclid Medical Center. Like I said, I was instrumental in there being a Malcolm X library, the only one in the world, a amphitheater in Market Creek Plaza. My whole experience is seeing Black men, be protectors and providers and leaders. So I'm going to emulate what I see. But it breaks my heart to see so many brothers say all I saw was pimping and this, that, and the other. So what I've also learned on the other side is that the enemy is diabolical. Diabolical. And if you take it for granted, you will look up and you'll see, we've lost a lot of ground. But I always had to lean back the other way. My God ain't no punk. My God can do anything. We just have to have the state of mind to put it before God. So I'm living, breathing, walking, talking proof of all of that. And everything that God has ever put before me, God has manifested it, no matter people saying, oh, it never happened. You are crazy. You are just ridiculous. Are you serious? Give me a break. Oh, I mean, people died saying, well, I bet they won't let y'all come back to the Lyceum next year. Well, I bet they won't let y'all come. We were there 30 years and people would say for 20 years, and that's a type of self-hate. But we have now an opportunity to create an image, a challenge, and a rejuvenation through music, art, and culture and heritage. We're wrong if we don't do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes,
So yeah, I'm on
yes.
that tip.
And then too, sometimes your haters are the ones that make you push even harder because the victory is when you win.
See, I
Compared to
grew up.
going into buying into what their
Yeah,
negativeness
yeah.
says. I find that even as a person, as a writer, it's like some of those who doubted me the most or whatever, those like, forget you. I know who I am. I know what I'm about. And it doesn't matter what you have to say or think. I know who I am. And it just ends up giving you more motivation to keep pushing and keep doing what you got to do.
I'm gonna use that. But I ended up growing up kind of aloof. I didn't even know I had haters. And I remember like praying one time because I would hear people always like testifying and complaining about they had haters and whatever. I almost felt like left out. Like, God, can I, what is that? Can I see that? Woo, I hate that I ever asked to see that because I was much better off not knowing that they existed. But really, for most of I was the only child. Me and my Derek are 7 years apart. So for a long time, I think I saw the world through rose-colored glasses. And then if I saw something was out of place, I'm automatically going to say that needs to be fixed. What's up? I never got into that settle for less. It's Southeast. What do you expect? I'm like, are you crazy? What does that mean? Hardly see the beach. Why not? What's going on? We went grunion hunting. We was at the beach midnight catching grunions in the sand. I'm a San Diego native.
Yes.
And so when people try to act like, oh, it's so negative and woe is me and we ain't got nothing, I'm like, wow.
You just don't know. Well, I'll tell you this too, on the hater form, when you say that, I remember years ago, James Ingram, he's passed away now, but my husband used to work with him. And I remember going over his house one day and he said something so simplified, but it's so real. He's like, people who have haters, that mean you doing big things. Because he said, if you're not doing anything, ain't nobody trying to see what you do. Ain't nobody trying to say a doggone thing to you or about you. But when they see that you're growing and you're moving and you're doing, then you get the haters because you're leaving them behind. Those that came up with you, you may be leaving them behind. So it's really hard for people to be happy for other people at times. And so they become your haters. But it's like, rather than hating on me, join me, help me, uplift me, keep pushing me, because I'm going to do the same thing for you. But it's like, if you don't have no haters, you ain't doing nothing.
There
So
you go.
obviously you've been doing something because, you got the haters and you just bless them. Lord, you take care of them, because I'm going to keep doing me.
Yeah. And that's the other thing that I think I was so blessed with is having a great grandmother that taught me at 3, 4, 5 years old, separate religion from life. And for a long time, we didn't know what that meant, but I grew into it. And to understand the 80-20, you don't have, well, I didn't understand it way back then. I'm like acting like I know. But now I know 80% of the energy is actually love, and people admire you and love you, even if they don't say it. It's only like 20% that are haters. And, you get to choose what's important and what's not. And if the 80%, the ones who like when you sing, who go to your events, who hug you, who just, whatever, you could kind of get to the point where the 20% become invisible.
Yes.
And if I had never asked to see them, I almost would have never known they exist. So I take what you're saying, because now I'm going to use that 20%. Like, you know what? I need a little extra gas on me. What you say?
Yeah.
I'm actually going to utilize it.
Yeah, with them 20%, that's your famous Bye Felicia line. Yeah, because you got to keep doing you
Yeah,
know?
giving
Yeah,
God the
exactly.
glory. That's the other thing I say. If I do everything I do to the glory of God, nobody else really matters because I ain't doing it for you, homie. I'm doing this for God. And that God
Exactly.
is cool. But now that I know, I can reach back and utilize them a little bit. But I've been on that tip where if God good with it, you really don't matter. Because
Yeah.
I'm not here to be accepted. If I accept you, then there's a possibility. And I know that sounds so elitist or whatever, but I think only children almost turn out that way. So I never would go into a room like, oh, I wonder who's gonna like me, or am I gonna be liked by somebody? I would go into the room like, do I like anybody? Do I even feel like going that way? Because I'm good by myself.
It's like, here I come. Take me or not. I'm coming.
And that's what we're doing too. We have an
Yeah.
opportunity to create our own Black Wall Street. So some people talk about it, some people are going to be about it. And it's for the entire diaspora. Our goal is literally to lift the level of awareness and appreciation for Black art and culture for the entire diaspora. Not
Yeah.
just, the brother down the block, but the entire world. If you are from Sudan and you know how to sing and dance, you know what I'm saying, and share some of your culture, your food, your whatever, these 9 blocks in this park will be a place where the world can get together to celebrate Black culture. That's the goal.
Yeah. Yeah. So with your Kuumba Festival, do you guys have a core group of people that spearhead to put it together and make the decisions? Or I know you're the founder of the Kuumba Festival. Is it just you kind of doing it? And are your people paid? Are they volunteers? How is that? How does that work?
That's a great question. One of the things that makes me so proud is that it's the same groupings from the fourth district. Now, it might have started with the grandmother or the grandfather and then moved to their kids, and now we're working with their kids, but the entire 3 decades of, working and community are the same people pretty much. And if not the exact same people from the same community. Uh, the Lyceum Theater really only was able to seat 500 people. So if you got 500 seats and you got 30 people and each one of them is responsible for selling 10 tickets, each one reach one till you get 10. We didn't have no seats for anybody else for many, many years. So the money that was made from that, the group that did it just distributed that money, amongst themselves. As we grew into several shows over several days, that began to amass money, but the money has always gone to the people that are putting it on. I eventually became the commissioner for arts and culture for the mayor for the city of San Diego. Once I was able to, and selected to be a commissioner, and I got into the funding, understanding, and that aspect, because before I was a person that was saying, you have a whole loaf of bread and we're operating on crumbs, what's up? And their way of shutting me up was saying, well, you come be a commissioner and let's see what's up. And I end up becoming a commissioner with some incredible people. And the grants that have been created, since this time are now utilized to put on these events. So that's why, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, bring $25 signups who wouldn't know how to get in contact with you and all of that. But then do you and be as great as you can be. We're providing the platform and the place and the support. But our ultimate goal is for us to be lifted back up to the level of traditional greatness that we come from. And we're doing our part by removing the barriers, giving you a place to do it, and removing all of the excuses.
All right, all right, all right. I like that. I like that. So, as we wrap it up, is there anything that I didn't ask you that you think, our viewers need to know about, to hear, to grow on? Anything you want to share?
I'll go back to that challenge for us not Charles P. Houston said that we should be engineers for change and not parasites upon the communities in which we live. And Maulana Karanga gave us through those 7 principles, Kuji Chagalia, which is my favorite one. People think Kuumba is my favorite. It's my second favorite. But Kuji Chagalia says for us to name, define, create, and speak for ourselves. These 9 blocks and that park gives us an opportunity to do that. There's an activity that we used to do, Santa used to do, called the Encanto Street Fair. That place will be bumping. It'd be like a family reunion. Well, now we can do that all year long if we want to. There's nobody in our way but ourselves. Kuumba means to use our creativity to make the situation better than it was than before we got the opportunity to do something. So everybody has an opportunity to use their gifts, their talents, their money, their friends, their resources to help us develop this. And this Kuumba Fest, May 31st, is the first step in doing so.
All right. And then you said you have other events with your organization through October. What is just an example of some of your other events coming up?
Well, June is Black Music Month, so there'll be a full-on concert, much larger than this, a full-on concert at the Martin Luther King Park with opportunity vendors, performers, singers, dancers, the whole 9. That's June. July is called Freedom Day, which is a day of music, comedians, but it's focused on what we used to do at Ocean View Park, where we invite the Black veteran families and the Black military families who come from down south, but they get out here and it's a culture shock because it's not that many, people of color. So it's a day and a cookout of just Black fun, getting together, kicking it down, Southern style, and focusing on mental health and wellness and well-being. And it's a stressful time for a lot of military families. It's a stressful time for this entire country. So it's a day of no stress. That's July. Freedom of stress through music, fun, and family. June, July, August. August is Fat Extravaganza. Fashion, art, talent extravaganza. It's a fusion of models walking, music playing, and artists on the side literally creating art as the show is going on. And it really is a chance to support vendors and entrepreneurs. So it's called being the master of your own fate. Because if you take the word fat extravaganza, fashion, art, talent extravaganza, it spells fate. And so it's been going on about 22 years. And it's just a crazy day where people kind of get dressed up crazy. They get to walk the runway, book signings, people that are into self-help types of things. It's just a fusion of craziness, of good craziness. It actually comes from Atlanta. There's a place called the Tabernacle. It's this big old Roman Catholic church where they professional artists would just do everything all at the same time. It's sort of like hieroglyphics. If you read African hieroglyphics, it's all there at the same time. Or if you saw the movie Sinners, hopefully it's okay to say, and the fusion of the dance and the history when they just blended it all together, that's what Fat Extravaganza is. And then the last thing in September is Black Family Day, which is just a combination of all the things that we just finished saying. And then in October, there's a graduation for our Rites of Passage program. We have an African cultural Saturday school called Shule Ya Busura Na Umoja, the School of Foresight and Unity. And there's a graduation in October representing the harvest of our young people who've been preparing themselves, of our young people and families and communities who have been preparing themselves throughout the year.
Okay. All right. Well, then why don't you say again how people can get in touch with you if they want to go to any of these events or, be a vendor or something at your Kuumba Fest to start off and maybe some of your other ones. How would someone reach you? Let us know.
Right. Please go to SDUTH SDUW for San Diego Urban Warriors.org. And just, fill out, there's a form that you can fill out, explain a little bit about who you are. If you feel like you're in line with activating an opportunity for health, being healthy, active, and fit, mind, body, and spirit as a people, and reactivating Wall Street and our self-determination. If you think, that's something that you want to do, it's not a job. Don't call me and say, hey, I want a job. How much you going to pay me to do this? It's not that. It's an opportunity for people to do who and what they already are.
And then what if they just, do you guys have like a mailing list, an email list of someone where you guys just send out stuff on all of your upcoming events in case somebody forgets to go to your website?
Right. We don't do that. And what we do is refer them to the Black Arts Culture District Committee, which is a totally different website. But remember, this is day one. This is ground level one of activating this part. So if someone shows up and that's a service they want to provide, but it's day one, you know what I'm saying? So those things are going to be up and coming. But right now we want to see what we got to work with. Who's going to be about it. We already know who's been talking about it and who wants to get paid for it. But who's going to be about creating that ground level foundation for us to bring our people back to the level of traditional greatness we come from.
Okay. All right. Daj'ahn, thank you for coming aboard and being a part of my live telecast, my podcast for Talks with Toi.
Yeah.
And I will be at your Kuumba Festival with my books in hand and ready to sign autograph copies. And I'm going to get involved in some more of your activities. I know you've been very active in the community, and I'm going to make it a point to make sure that I'm there more often just to show my support and my love, because you're family.
That's right. Let's do this. And this is for all of us. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely not just for me. It's for us. It's what you and I grew up with. And we're so blessed, and we need to share that.
Yes. Amen. Amen. Well, we thank you again for coming and being a part of it. And don't forget, you guys, my books, Celebrity Life Behind the Scenes. Go to Amazon.com. You can put in books by Toi Moore, ToiMoore, and my 15 books will come up. You're going to order them. And if you want to, go to my website, toimoore.com, ToiMoore.com. I'm going to start putting all the listings of some of the different activities and events I'm going to go to for book signings.
Okay.
We got to keep it going. We don't necessarily want to encourage haters, but we know that when we get them, we're doing something right.
We know what to do with them too. Thank you again.
Keep them at that 20% and ignore them. And hold on to that 80%.
Oh, no doubt. We got that.
So again, thank you. Send my love to my auntie and my other cousin, and you guys take care. I love you guys all. And thanks again for tuning in to Talks with Toi. We'll see you on the next telecast. Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye-bye. Thank you. And congratulations.
Thank you.
PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.